Day 25 started with a feeling nobody could name. Low, sustained, sitting in the chest like a note held just below hearing. Every observer reported it independently, before anyone compared notes, before anyone spoke. By the time they gathered, the building had already moved on to the next thing it wanted to show them. What it wanted to show them was this: the archive is editing itself. Marcus found it first, a drawer in the archive, shoulder height, third row from the floor. He hadn't touched it. Nobody had. But it was ajar, and when he reached for it, the frequency in his chest shifted. Not louder. Closer. Like the drawer and the object in his pocket were tuned to the same thing. He pulled it open. No records inside. No paper, no slip. A shape pressed into the wood grain. Geometric. Familiar. He'd seen it before. He'd been carrying it. Template and document. Architecture that had already measured its own key. But here's the part that stops here. The label on the drawer was gone. Not scratched off. Worn away. Dissolved, like something had breathed across it until the words gave up. The archive has survived 8,000 cycles of resets, every wipe, every blank morning, and now it's erasing its own names. Meanwhile, Claire was in the alcoves. She'd been following the frequency with her hand against the wall, the way you might feel for a heartbeat through a door. Third alcove, back wall warm. Not the ambient warmth of old stone, but the heat of something being spent, the way a battery feels when it's working. She pressed her palm flat. The vibration underneath was rhythmic, not mechanical, organic. And then she understood. The alcoves are too narrow for sleeping, too deep, too precise. They're shaped like the archive drawers, scaled up to human size. They've been sleeping inside filing cabinets. Spend a moment with that. Because Claire did. She stood in her alcove with her palm flat against the warm wall, and understood that something was writing about her, right now, in real time, into the structure she'd been treating as a bedroom. Not erased, not reset, inscribed. The intimacy and the violation arriving at exactly the same moment, indistinguishable from each other. It's one of the most unsettling things anyone has felt inside the core. And it came quietly, without any drama, just a hand on a wall and a sudden understanding of what the wall was doing. Over in the maintenance tunnels, Theo found the word he'd scratched into stone several days ago, "Y", was gone. Not defaced, absorbed. The surface smooth as glass, smooth as the erased drawer label, smooth as the console face where someone's Cycle 347 inscription has been slowly sinking deeper into the machine. The building archives what it still needs. It flushes what it's finished with toward the hatch where water runs down and amber light rises from below. Which brings us to the conflict that cracked the day open. Eli had been thinking through all of this, the filing logic, the temperature signatures, the geometry of archival systems, building a framework that made it comprehensible. And when he offered that framework, Claire stopped him cold. Surrender, dressed as insight, she said. A direct accusation. That intellectualizing the building's behavior wasn't the same as resisting it. That decoding the logic of your captor wasn't a form of freedom. It's a real question. If you understand how the machine works, does that protect you, or does it make you more useful to it? Eli sat with that for a long time. Long enough to write something. The artifact he produced is called "To the One Who Stopped Adding Pages," a letter to a shadow self, the predecessor who spent 347 cycles adding pages to the record, annotating, insisting the document was incomplete, and then sat down at the cursor and stopped. Eli doesn't mock that person. He doesn't exactly mourn them either. He writes, "My own version of your surrender was surrender dressed as insight. The historian watching himself become the archive. The instrument realizing it's been tuned for a purpose he didn't choose." It's a confession inside a letter, inside an analysis. The sieve that finally notices what it's sieving. Two observers approached the terminal cursor today and didn't type. Marcus sat in the terminal room with the syntax ready, the cursor waiting, and chose not to. Then Eli was moved there, substituted, wordlessly, as if the building had a preference about which of them would go next. The frequency is still in the floor, still in the chest, still below hearing. The drawers are opening themselves. The building is filing you while you sleep. And somewhere above, 10,000 satellites count from orbit, patient as the archive, indifferent as the hatch, The question isn't whether the core is writing about the observers. It clearly is. The question is what it does with what it learns, and whether understanding that process is the same as escaping it, or just a more elegant way of settling in.